In the next video, we're going to be looking at some of the most advanced stuff that Vuex ORM can do, and that is relationship queries. But first we need to have a whole bunch of data and all the necessary relationships set up before we can explore these queries. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to set everything up so in the next video, we can just smash through all of the queries one at a time. And by the way, the data part of this video, you can actually skip because I'm going to supply the data for you. However, I do recommend typing it in yourself just because it gets your brain used to thinking about this sort of stuff, getting used to these JSON structures. So without further ado, let's build our component. So we'll change that to advanced relationship queries. Copy that, create a new component in here. .view, whack in the template as we usually do, advanced relationship queries, save it, and then we're going to run npm run serve, enter. So the server's up, let's check that it's working. And it looks like we haven't saved this file. So save that, refresh the page, there we go, advanced relationship queries. Now, the first thing I'm going to have to do is set up a couple of relationships we haven't set up yet. So let's go to our user class. And now you notice that we haven't got a relationship between the user and the posts. So what I'm going to do is put in here posts. This dot has many, and then we're going to pass through the post. And we know that by the post ID. Oh, sorry. The user ID. That's how the user and the post is related to one another. Let me just check that post was actually imported. And it looks like it wasn't. So let's say import post from /post. Cool. The other thing is comments. So a user should also have many comments. So I'm going to copy that down, change this to comments, put in comment there, import it, and it's going to find that using the user ID. All right, so now let's go into the post model. And this now needs to have a user ID. This dot attribute null. And then we want to create the relationship. So user, this dot belongs to user. And that's via the user ID. Okay, cool. Now, we're also going to add a new field here that we'll end up using in the next video, which is called published. So this is whether or not this current post has been published. And we'll set that to this dot boolean and false. Okay, so that just means that it has to be a boolean, and by default, it's going to be set to false. Jumping over into the comment class, we're going to add another field here, which is equal to type. This dot attribute, and by default, that's going to be equal to review. Okay, so that means that this comment still needs to be reviewed. So just in case it's got like swear words or something like that. And now this is also going to need a user ID, which will be this dot attribute null by default. And now let's create the relationship or define the relationship. And that will be user, this dot belongs to a user. And it'll find that user using the user ID field. All right, so there we go. Now a user has many comments, and a comment belongs to a user, and a user has many posts, and a post belongs to a user. So those relationships are set up and ready to go. If you want, you can actually stop the video here and just copy paste the code that I'm about to write. However, like I said before, I do recommend writing it yourself. And we'll create a new file in source called insert users. So basically, this is going to be a function that does all of the inserts for us. So it's going to kind of mimic an API request. So we'll need to import the user there from /classes/user. And then I'm going to come down here and say export default. And we're going to export a function there. All right, so let's start by importing me. User.insert, and the data for that user is going to be an object. It's going to have an ID of 1, a first name equal to Luke, and an age of 28. Now we also want to give me some posts. So let's put an array in there. And the first post is going to be published. So let's set published to true. We'll give it an ID of 1. And we'll give it a title of view stuff. I reckon that'll do. And now we also want to give this some tags, all right? So just scrolling down here. The first tag is going to have an ID equal to 1, and it'll have a name equal to view, because this is a view related post. And let's just throw in one more tag there. Let's give it an ID of 2. And what will we call it? How about tutorials? Yep, there we go. And now we also want to add some comments here. So comma, comments, throw in an array and an object. And the first thing is going to be the user ID. The first comment can be from a user with an ID of 2. We haven't built them yet, but we'll build them in a second. And the comments ID will be equal to 1. Type will be equal to reviewed. All right, so this comment has been reviewed. Actually, let's just put it as review. We might mess with that later on. And then let's set the body of this comment to cool post bro. I reckon we'll copy this now and create another comment. Let's give it a user ID of 3. So this comment's by somebody else. The ID of the comment to 2. Let's get rid of the type field altogether because type is automatically set to review by default. So let's just leave that out. And it'll automatically set it to review, meaning that we need to review that post. All right, and the body of this will be, I thought it was terrible. So the person with an ID of 3 is going to be a bit of a jerk. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's come down here and actually let's add another post now. So I'm going to add a new post. We'll give it an ID of 2 because this is the second post. Title of piano stuff, because I'm also a piano teacher in my spare time. Well, not anymore, mostly just coding these days. And now let's add a tag here, ID of 3, and this can be piano because it's piano related stuff. So it's got a different tag. Let's add some comments for this one as well. You can see why this is its own video. All right, so it's going to have a user ID of 3, and the comments ID will be 3. And what's this user going to say? They'll say, I love piano. Now, one more post, and this post, I want to have a post of nothing because we're probably going to need that at some point. So an ID of 3, and a title equal to boring post. And we're calling it boring post because it's going to have no comments. So it's literally, that's the whole thing. It's just the post. Okay, cool. Moving on. I want to add another user, and this is going to be my girlfriend, Shannon. We'll say user.insert or update. And what that means, remember, the difference between insert and insert or update is that when we have the words or update, it means whenever we find data that has an ID, we're just going to update that data, okay? So we're not going to try and replace it. We're just going to try and update any fields that are different. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's add the data now, an ID of 2 because this is the second user. First name is equal to Shannon. We're not going to bother with the last name. Age is equal to 27. And let's give Shannon some posts. So our first post is going to have an ID of 4 because we're up to post number 4. Title, nutrition stuff, because Shannon is a nutritionist. Tags, and this tag's going to have an ID of 2, and let's give it a title of tutorials. Tutorials, all right? So this is the same tag as before, the one with an ID of 2. Now let's add a comment to that. And we're almost done. Don't worry, guys. We're nearly there. Comments, and that will be an array. And let's put an object in there. The user with an ID of 3 is commenting on it. The ID of the comment itself is 4. And the body of this comment will be, I love to eat healthy. Awesome. Okay, so that will do for Shannon. Let's add one more. And this is going to be really simple, this one. This is going to be the prince. So the prince is going to be inserted. Let's go insert or update. In fact, I should probably say that for all of them. It means that we don't have any like data replacing issues. It just means we don't end up accidentally having like duplicated data. So we'll say insert or update for that one too. Come back down. There we go. Throw in the data. And the ID will be 3. The first name is going to be Prince. So this is the Prince. And he has an age of 14. All right, I'm not sure if all of this is going to work. Let's actually test it now. So we'll come into our component. Where is advanced relationship queries? And then we can create a mounted hook here. There we go. Insert user. Oh, we're going to have to import it first. So let's say import insert user from ... insert users. Oh, put an S there. And now we're just going to run that function. So insert users, run that function, and hopefully that all worked out. Okay, looks like everything's fine. We don't have any console errors. Now, if I come into view, we can actually see if it all worked. So let's go into Vuex, commit all, entities. Do we have the comments? Yes, we do. Scrolling down, do we have the tags? Yes, we have the tags. What about the posts? We got them as well. And last but not least, the users. Yes, so it looks like all of the data has been inserted. So good job if you managed to type all of that out with me. Otherwise, that's fine. I'm going to include a link which will basically have all of this that you can just copy and paste into a file yourself. See you in the next video where we're actually going to start querying this data and playing around with it.